From the Ticats Audio Network, this is Ticats Today with Brayden Neville.
On today's show, we speak to three of the Ticats team award winners. Tim White, the Most Outstanding Player Award winner. Tyreik McAllister, the Most Outstanding Special Teams Player. Simoni Lawrence, the Most Outstanding Defensive Player. And Coach O discusses the impact those guys have had on the team this season. It's Wednesday, October 25th, 2023, and you're listening to Ticats Today. A big day in Hamilton as several Ticats have been given team awards for the season. And a pretty deserving list right here. I don't think anyone on this list is going to really shock anybody. No one really jumps out at me as not deserving. I think all of these guys are more than deserving of the honors. A couple of the awards could have definitely gone different ways because there's so many players on this Ticats roster that have had incredible seasons. Tim White was given the Most Outstanding Player Award for the team. Simoni Lawrence was your Most Outstanding Defensive Player. Stavros Katsantonis, Most Outstanding Canadian. Brayden Neville, the Most Outstanding Lineman. Tyreik McAllister, the Most Outstanding Special Teams Player. And Taylor Powell, TP, the Most Outstanding Rookie. Coach O spoke about those guys being honored and their impact on the team this season.
Yeah, just congratulations to all of them. I thought, a few were kind of maybe overlooked there a little bit, but that's always the case when you have multiple people voting. So, in an ultimate team sport, I've always said it's tough to really focus on individual accolades. However, it is part of it, and that's kind of the fun of it. And I know that as a player, I always took a squint at it. Even though the main thing was always the main thing, and that was winning. So yeah, it's just a huge congratulations to everybody, and best of luck to them moving forward. But as a head coach, you recognize that and you move on quickly, because really it's without the teammates, none of that's really possible. And I think each one of those people would say that in their own way.
What can you say about Simoni and having the season that he's had and winning that award, and looking at last year how riddled he was with injuries, and to do what he's done this season?
Yeah, I think I alluded to it a little bit in training camp. Like, he really made a different commitment to his body, whether that was nutrition, extra work, possibly getting his weight down. Just really recognizing where he was at in this point in his career. So just a credit to him. I mean, he's just a tireless worker. I can't say enough great things. He's been a staple, not just on the field, but off the field in this community. He's helped build this brand, and in his own way, built his own brand. And, he's done a great job with his platform, great with kids and whatnot, and also great in the locker room with his teammates. So, Simoni's been one of those guys that is very deserving. He works hard, but so does everybody else there.
And Tyreik McAllister, he's had shown that ability to be explosive all season on that special teams and on the offense. But what has he really brought to this special teams and to be given this award for?
A threat. Every time he touches the ball, he proved that right away. I think it's really that clean. And I think everybody really in the league has one now. There was a time when you had a few people doing double duties, and, every once in a while somebody would bust through. But it's really a specialized position now, it seems, for the most part. And he just adds to that list. And I think, obviously, with Woods there, it's kind of a dual thing. Woods' injury allowed for Tyreik to really come, but he really put himself on the map on that, that screen pass against Ottawa. It kind of showed everybody what he could do. So, we've had multiple people here as returners that have been dynamic, and now he gets to be added to that list.
That was Coach O. Kicking off the awards is Tim White, who came away with the Most Outstanding Player Award for the Ticats, and he's just been lights out this season. Currently leads the CFL in receiving yards with 1,269. He's third in receiving touchdowns with 8, and he also is 7th in receptions. And that stat right there alone should tell you how impactful his receptions have been this season, because he's leading the league in receiving yards, but he's all the way down in 7th in receptions. So those are some big yardage plays he's making. He's one of those guys who's a game changer. He can make that big catch late in the game. He can make that big catch at any time in the season. And he's been able to do it with 3 different quarterbacks this season. It's not easy for a quarterback and receiver to gel, but for him to be able to gel with Taylor, Matt, and Bo and be able to be productive in the process, that's very impressive. There were definitely some guys that were deserving of this award. I think the most obvious one being James Butler, who's having himself an incredible season. He's had over 1,000 yards rushing. But the way I look at this, and it might be wrong, but you look at Brady Oliveira. Statistically, he's been one of the league's top running backs. He's in Winnipeg, and he's had just a monster year. And that's no disrespect to James Butler, but you look at Tim White, and arguably, he's the top receiver in the league this season. So there's an argument to be made for both of those guys. Either way, both outstanding players. Tim White, the most outstanding player for your Hamilton Tiger Cats, and amazing season for him. Tim White spoke today about being given the honor and more.
That's great. I just got the news pretty much, but it's really a credit to all my teammates. All the hard work that they put in, our offensive line. Continuing to put in the work and piece good weeks together, and the award can go out to so many different guys. Simoni, you put together a great year. And staff put together a great year. Just my teammates continue to push each other to be the best. So, it could go out to anybody.
You've had four different quarterbacks, but 3 different quarterbacks throwing to you throughout this season. And you've been able to gel with all of them. Is this you being comfortable no matter who's throwing the ball? Yeah. I think it's just, like I said, continue to get a lot of reps with all the guys, whoever's back there or going through walkthroughs, just catching the ball, and making sure that I have a relationship with all those guys. I think that makes it easier once they're in the huddle. Was this a goal for you at all, like heading into this season? Was this something you were looking at?
It's not something that I necessarily thought about, but I plan on having a big year, and late in the season I came through and started to show up more, so that was obviously a blessing. But it wasn't necessarily a goal, but, I plan on coming in here and have a great year. No, that's beyond me. Whatever the decision is, whether I'm playing or not, that's beyond me. I just look to show whatever I could do when I'm on the field, and whatever the decision is, I'll be ready. I feel like every day I try to approach it as if, it's game day. So I try to, pay attention to all my details, try to execute all my details. So really, when I step on the field, when it is game time, it feels natural and I could just play to my ability. Yeah, they should be a very confident team. They're going to come out here and play hard. And, they have good leadership on their team, so I'm sure they're going to be ready. And we're just going to make sure that we're ready.
That was the Most Outstanding Player Award winner, Tim White. Simoni Lawrence was a player that some were skeptical about heading into this season. Coming off a year when he had those injury problems, people didn't know which version of Simoni we were going to see this season. But he mentioned to me he came up with a goal in the offseason to get to a certain weight and show up ready to go for this season in the best possible shape he could be in. And this season, he's been dominant. 83 tackles, 5 sacks, a pick, 3 forced fumbles. An absolutely all-star caliber season for the Ticats' longest-serving member, and it was good enough to win him the award of Most Outstanding Defensive Player for the Cats. This is an award that could have gone to a couple of guys. You look at Jameer Thurman and what he's been able to accomplish this season joining the team. Stavros Katsantonis, Casey Sales. There's a bunch of guys that could have gotten this award, but Simoni Lawrence deserves the credit, and he thanked his teammates for helping him achieve the award.
It's a cool honor. First of all, I just like to thank God always, just because, last year was a weird season and, just had to get back to work. And my family for sure, and just like all my teammates and like the staff here, the business side of the things. Like, it's really like a team award, like, how it is, the defensive award. So I just forgot to go down the line. First, we're going to start up front. Shout out. All right, this is the Do You Know Your Teammates? Shout out to Sales, man. He's done a great job all season. He's really came in here and he was really great all season. Ted Laurent, he's a dominant leader. He started the year off fast, so it's cool to see how he's been balling and stuff. Shout out to Carney Scoop. He did a great job at defensive end. JG's was also at defensive end. We got a lot of rookies over there to the boundary with me that's been balling. J.E. before J.E. got hurt, he was balling. Shout out to Sutherland that's over there now doing his thing. George, he had a great rookie season as well. Goose, most outstanding Canadian, well-deserved, super proud of him. Thurman, can't forget Thurman. He's done a great job in his first year here with the Ticats. Over to the field, you got Rich Leonard. You know, he always makes all the big plays, so shout out to him as well. Crickets, help me out if I'm missing somebody. I said Goose already. Who am I missing up front? Did I get all my Savages up front? Talk to me. Chris Edwards. Can't forget Chris. Chris got the season started off fast, you know. Big shout out to Chris Edwards. You know, he's a dominant player. I'm excited to see him ball in the playoffs. Just all the guys, really. You know, if I left anybody else out, it's a fine. Only $5 though. Can't afford nothing else.
And what was that like for you to have the injuries you did last season, and not only physically but mentally to get yourself to play the way you have this year and to completely transition and have a year like you have?
You know, like it means a lot just because like I was telling my manager, I was telling her like, yo, like this is all fake news, you know what I mean? A lot of people were like talking about, oh, Simoni's this, Simoni's that. And I'm just like, yo, these people don't care about football enough to do their homework or history of football, you know. 4 years of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, you know, there's been something consistent here, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's just good to just be like, I told you so.
Do you think that outside chatter was really a major fuel for you for this season?
Nah, the outside chatter is never really a major fuel for me because it's like who the information is coming from. I don't want to be like none of these guys, you know what I mean? I want to be like me. Mm-hmm. So, like, the only information I really care about is mine. Coach O, you know, the boss is here. Everybody else don't really matter.
And Stavros, he was also nominated as the best Canadian player. What can you say about him and what he's been able to do in his breakout season?
Goose is one of those players where if he's given the opportunity and he can stay healthy, he's always going to play good because he cares, you know what I mean? And when you, like, caring about football is the most important, you know. It's easy to say I'm a football player, but actually coming in every day, working, practicing hard, and doing your job to the best of your ability and bringing great energy to practice, you know. Being a football player is just not being a football player on game day. Well, that's a big part of it, but like going through long seasons like that, you got to be consistent with your teammates. You got to ball, you got to come to work, give great energy. You got to be able to listen, you got to be able to adapt, you got to listen to coaches. Even if you don't agree to stuff, you just, you know, there's a protocol, there's a chain of command, you got to be able to understand that. Yeah, I had Coach O definitely gave me a goal weight to get to before the season, just to make sure the season was what he knew the season would be when I came back healthy. And, you know, like, that's just part of the game. If you love something, you're going to do whatever you got to do to make sure you're the person you want to be, you know. I don't know about a lot of people. I'm not okay just sitting in the back seat and playing a role, you know what I mean? Like, I like getting to it, and, you know, that's why I keep playing football. It's a fight, you know what I'm saying? I like it's football, you know, you play them the week after that, so it's one of those games, like, you're going to show some stuff to mess with people, but at the end of the day, it's a football game. Anytime somebody keeps score of a football game, it's like a winner and a loser, regardless if a game matters or doesn't matter. I don't understand how you can go out there and put your body on the line and say a game doesn't matter. You know, that's how you get hurt. It's always psychological warfare, you know what I'm saying? Like, football is always like that. So it's one of those things where it's like they might show things that they never plan on running, but that's just part of the game. But at the end of the game, we're just locked in on this week. We're trying to get a win for the franchise.
That was your most outstanding defensive player for the Hamilton Ticats this season, Simoni Lawrence. A guy who sort of came out of nowhere is Tyreik McAllister this year, and every single game has had me jumping out of my seat when he returns the ball because, quite honestly, every time he returns a kick, he gives us that little glimmer, that little chance that he might take it back to the house. And unfortunately, he's had 2 touchdown returns called back. He had that one really long 2-point run back after that field goal attempt missed. But in 15 games, he's had 958 kick return yards, averaging 25 per return. And he's been a problem for teams on special teams, making him this season's Special Teams Player of the Year. And this is another category that has had some worthy candidates. The first one that comes to my mind is Carthel Flowers-Lloyd, who's just 9 tackles away from breaking the single-season record for special teams tackles. And you also have Nick Cross, who was nominated twice as the PFF Player of the Week on special teams. Still, Tyreik is a great choice for the award, and he spoke about getting the honor today.
It's a great honor, man, but that just goes to my teammates for blocking for me and putting me in the right position to make a play, and my coaches just put me in the right position to make a play as well. So it's a good honor, but to my teammates, shout out to my teammates and my coaches.
What can you say about the season you've had and being able to be such an impact player on this special teams and that offense, but more specifically in this situation on that special teams?
I think I had a good impact, man. I think my season has gone pretty good so far, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I haven't been able to get in the end zone as much as I like, you know what I'm saying? But I think so far it's been good. I think I made a positive impact as soon as I came in, and that's all I really want to do for the team.
Heading into the season, was this kind of a goal that you set out for yourself, that you would maybe be in conversation for awards or be able to make the impact that you had?
Honestly, nah, this wasn't an expectation. I just wanted to come in and just do my part as best as I could, either on offense or special teams, wherever it could, just make a play. And it's so having to be on special teams so far, so I'm just thankful, just grateful for it.
What can you say about working with Coach Jeff Reinbold and what you've been able to accomplish with him as your coach?
I love him, man. I love Jeff, man. He's a crazy dude, but I love him, man. He got all the confidence in the world in me to make a play anytime I get the ball in my hands, and that's all you can ask for as a player. Yeah, I'm heavily aware because they make it known almost every day. Well, especially Jeff, he make it known. He told me when I first came in, he said he had, I think it was like 6 or 7 guys he had that had returned touchdowns, and I was like, man, that's crazy. So he was like, you can be the 8th or something like that. So I was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna do my best to try to do my part. So.
That was your most outstanding special teams player this season for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Tyreik McAllister. Congratulations to him, Simoni Lawrence, and Tim White on the awards. On tomorrow's show, we will have our other award winners, Taylor Powell, who is the most outstanding rookie, Stavros Katsantonis, who is the most outstanding Canadian, and Brandon Revenberg, who is the most outstanding lineman. And it'll be great to get to chat with those guys and see how they feel about being awarded this very prestigious honor from the team. Also, before we go, Ticats fans, heading into the Grey Cup, remember to join us for Coors Light Caretakers Game Day Warm-Up hosted by Tiger Town Council at the Bernie Morelli Recreation Center for fun-packed hours before the 110th Grey Cup game. Warm up before the big game and cheer on the best teams in the league in this pre-game celebration. For more information and to get tickets, go to greycupfestival.ca/events. That's all the time for me today. I want to thank you for listening. Ticats today.